moving on here, we're going to be talking about briefly about. So if a member is coded 37, they will still need to go through the pre-des phase. Note, the ARPC is not responsible for removing, adding, updating a member's code 37. Now, the pre-des phase includes the dog, AMRO or IRILO, and final would be AFRIC SG. And once the member has been found medically disqualified at AFRIC SG, the member will have the option to either separate or retire, or they can request to have their case forwarded to the PEB for review in the event that the member is medically disqualified for worldwide duty by AFRIC SG. All right, so here, let's kind of move on to the MyFSS part of it. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with Salesforce yet. It will be coming out, but this is basically how to locate a member's case via MyFSS. A note to kind of be aware of is that you as the FSS may not have HR actions title or permissions in MyFSS yet, so you will need to request those through AFPC. The following link below is how you will actually get into MyFSS. I don't know if you've kind of played around with it yet. There's quite a lot to learn. It is a learning curve. So going to go over how to locate the member's case via MyFSS. So step one is the landing page. You'll scroll down to the Available Now applications and select HR Actions. Now, again, this may not have this right away because you will need to get access to it.
Sorry, Shifo, you're losing sound again, so you're cutting in and out.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps doing that here. Can you still hear me now?
Yes, sir. That's better.
All right. Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps going in and out. All right. Step two, if not automatically redirected to the Peblo HR Actions page, you'll select the Physical Evaluation Board tab. And it's shown in the image there. Step three, you're going to scroll down to Cases, and you're going to select the Open tab to view open cases and the Close tab to view closed cases. Now, each case will be loaded, is listed with the created date, subject, name, status, disposition, and updated date, as well as reference number, kind of similar to how my PERS was. Step five will be to open a case. You'll select the Details button to the right of the reference number. All right, so step six, you'll select the Communication tab to view all correspondence between the Peblo and the case manager. This is, again, very similar to my PERS. You can kind of see and track all the way through from start to finish as far as any communication that was done, and you'll be able to see it through in this tab. Now, step seven is you'll select New Comment to contact the Peblo and the case manager. You can leave comments or just anything that's pertinent to the member's case. Now, step eight, you'll populate the comment answer field and select Save to attach the comment to the case. Now will be to select Related Documents tab so you can actually view uploaded files or upload new files to the member's case directly. All right, step 10, this is where you'll select and upload files or drag and drop files to upload new documents. It's very similar to my PERS. I think they're trying to keep it similar, but it's definitely a learning curve here. All right, so moving on. This is actually the AFPC determination notification. So this is once AFPC makes a determination on a member's case, the technician at the FSS will receive an email on the disposition of the member's case and counseling the member. So below is kind of a look at what it will look like in your email. It's usually through the Total Force Service Center. It's a standard MyFSS email. And it kind of gives you the instructions. The member's name has actually been redacted in this, but it'll have your suspense date supplied by AFPC. That suspense date will be pertinent later on here in the slides. So definitely keep track of these emails as they come through. All right, so this is how to send that notification to a member. So we're back in MyFSS here. we're going to go to My Apps, and you're going to click on Service Agent. Now, step 1, you're going to click on the drop down and select Reports. And step 2 will be to select ARC Fitness Cases. And this is all the reserved fitness cases that are available. Here, we've actually redacted all the members' names, but each one of these lines is a member's case. So this is where you'll select the specific member's name, and you can open their case file directly. You'll go to the Communications tab, again, very similar to MyPERS. You're going to select Compose, as if you're composing an email. Now, it'll pull up this screen. Again, it reflects MyPERS a little bit. And you're going to be adding the member's civilian email. Since most of these members only have access to their civilian email, you're going to need to add that so that they are notified. Now, you can find that member's civilian email under Target EDI-PI to the right here, in the right-hand side in that bar. Now, the box below is where the member will be notified of the determination that was made by AFPC. So again, it mirrors MyPERS, and this will go directly to the member for them to see and respond back. All right, so now this, as the FSS, this is where you kind of want to pay attention, especially because you'll be taking it over come 1 October. But this is our counseling script. This is what you'll be using to notify the member of the determination that was made. This specifically is for unfit determinations. And it reads at the beginning here, we received the determination back from your fitness case for the IPEB/FPB. It was determined that you were found unfit for duty by AFPC. The following forms must be signed and returned back via case number, and that case number is found in MyFSS. Now, the 2 forms below, the Air Force Form 1180 and the ODC Legal Representation Form, are very pertinent documents. And these are the forms you will be counseling, they'll be counseled upon and sent to AFPC. It says, if you as the FSS do not receive the requested forms within the designated time frame, which is that suspense date that was provided by AFPC, then AFPC will take the non-response from the member as concurring with the findings, and they will be separated. Here, under your suspense date you'll put that suspense date was in that email. And then you're going to want to pull the member's point credit summary. And this will be for the reason, I'll talk about that here in a minute. But so if a member agrees with the findings, one of 2 things can happen. They will either be separated if they have less than 15 years of satisfactory service, or if they have more than 15 years of satisfactory service, and this is where that point credit summary comes in. You're going to want to see how many SAT service years they have. They are able to apply for retirement. Now, this retirement is a regular reserve retirement, not a medical retirement. And it actually has the steps below for how to apply. It's through VPC dashboard, and it will walk the member through how to apply directly for retirement that way. Now, once the member applies for retirement, they should receive a 6-digit retirement application number. Now, that number we asked be provided to us so we can actually track with ARPC retirements directly and be able to kind of make sure that everything is flowing the way it should. And so now the next one would be if the member disagrees with the findings or the determination that was made by AFPC, their case will be sent to the FPB for further review. They can elect to have an ODC attorney provided or provide their own attorney to accompany them during the FPB process. We ask that they fill out the ODC representation request form and return back as well. All right, moving on to, this is the same counseling script as before, but this is for a member who is found fit or return to duty by AFPC. It reads the same at the top there, but the same forms will need to be counseled upon as well, and will need to be sent to AFPC. Now, that Air Force Form 1180 and the ODC legal representation form are, again, they still will need to be completed. The suspense date will be put in there as well, and that is what is provided in that email from AFPC. Now, in this case, if a member agrees with the findings, they will be returned to duty and their case is sent back to AFRIC SG and RMU for action. And their case is actually closed at your level. Now, if you disagree with the findings, or if the member disagrees with the findings of the fitness case, their case will then be sent to FPB for further review. They can as well elect to have an ODC attorney provided or provide their own attorney to accompany them during the FPB process. We'll again have them fill out the ODC representation request form and return. All right, so moving on to the AFPC determination. This is actually the form that AFPC uses that shows the determination that was made for the members. So once AFPC makes the determination via the Air Force Form 356, it will be uploaded in MyFSS. Once the member is found unfit or fit by AFPC, AFRIC SG will log into MyFSS and retrieve the Air Force Form 356 from there. And below is just kind of what it looks like. All right, so this is just a counseling overview. So counseling, the member can either be done in person, or if a member is unavailable, you can send out a message via MyFSS with the standard text that we went through earlier and attach the Air Force Form 1180 and ODC legal representation form. The suspense date is for 30 calendar days. If no response from the member by the 15th day, follow up with the member via phone. It's usually provided on their initial PEB election sheet, and it's in the member's fitness case, which is also in MyFSS. If the member does not answer, annotate notes and get a hold of the member's leadership or RMU so that they may get a hold of the member directly. Now, if leadership is not successful in getting a hold of the member, we have them create a memo stating that they were unsuccessful and annotate as well. Now, if there's no response from the member at all, AFPC will take their non-response as acceptance to the disqualification and separation/retirement action will be initiated. And below is just the AFI 363212 that kind of oversees all of this. All right, so this is a pending 1180 case actions. So this is so step one would be you're back in MyFSS. So from the open tab, you select the details button to the far right of the case with a pending 1180 disposition. You can select, step two would be to select the related documents tab, shown in that image there. Step three, this is where you'll select the download icon to the far right of the, you can download the 356, the whole form, and it shows the official diagnosis, combined compensatable percentage, recommended disposition, remarks, and any exhibits related to the member's condition. Step four is where you'll select the download icon to the far right of the Air Force Form 1180. And this is where sign the signature of the PEBLO, the PEB representative or counsel field. The member will also need to complete this form, and they're going to wet or digitally sign the bottom, and you'll save in the signed documents. Now, the Air Force Form 356 is the member's disposition from AFPC. This is the fit, unfit, or return to duty disposition. The Air Force Form 1180 is the PEB election form, and that's what you will counsel the member upon, as well as the ODC legal representation form. Now, the member can elect to have a legal representation or find their own legal representation for their fitness case. We're moving on to completing the actual Air Force Form 1180 itself. So this is kind of a brief overview, and I'm not sure if any of you have seen an 1180 before, but this is what it looks like. So big note that before a member makes any election on the decision that was made from AFPC, we ask that the member contact their ODC, their legal counsel, at the number provided. There's a DSN, a commercial, to better make an informed decision before they just put something on paper. We recommend this because we've had a few instances, with members just not getting an informed decision. So block 1 here on the Air Force Form 1180, this is where you'll have the member fill in their last, first, middle initial, their social, and their rank. Now block 2, this is where you'll put the suspense for them to make their election. And that was the same date that was actually provided in the email from AFPC. They are allotted 30 calendar days from the date they are briefed to make that election. Now, the individual that is briefing the member must sign under the signature of PEBLO, PEB representative, or counsel. The service member will then make their election in Section A of the Air Force Form 1180. There are only 2 applicable options available. So Section 3 is the election to agree. If the member agrees with the findings of the IPEB, then the member will only mark the top block in Section 3. No other blocks should be marked. All right, so here is the election to disagree. So this is if a service member does not agree with the IPEB decision and requests to have an FPEB hearing. They will only mark this block shown below, no other blocks. Also a note, until further notice, FPEB hearings are being held telephonically via Zoom, or the member can request to have an absentee hearing, which means only the attorney will present the evidence on the member's behalf. The signature, the member will sign the bottom of the form, and this is where the member, they just can do either digital or wet, and just have the service member sign and date. So this would be if a member requests to appeal to the FPEB, they have the right to do so. And then, so they can, if a member requests to appeal to the FPEB and reconsiders and wishes to change their election to agree prior to the hearing date, they will coordinate with their legal counsel. The new Air Force Form 1180 will need to be accomplished and submitted to AFPC. The information in Section 1 and 2 will need to be inputted in the form accordingly. And again, the member must sign and date this form. The Air Force Form 1180 is received by the FPEB admin office. An email will be sent confirming receipt and will provide approval to begin separation retirement actions as appropriate. And below is the box that it says, I request to waive my right to an FPEB hearing. All right, so this is the ODC legal representation form that we mentioned earlier. So you'll have the member fill out the whole form in its entirety. This document will be sent along with the Air Force Form 1180 to the AFPC for processing. Note that the ODC, the legal counsel, will not make initial contact with the member. It is the member's responsibility to contact them directly. The member will either elect yes to be represented by an attorney from the ODC or no to decline representation altogether. All right, so this is after counseling the member. So you'll select the document with the completed Air Force Form 1180 ODC representation worksheet from your files, and you'll select open. Step 10, you'll select done once the files have been successfully uploaded into the MyFSS. And step 11 is once all required documents have been provided, you'll select member counsel button. Now, by selecting the member counsel button, this will ensure AFPC has been notified. Otherwise, the documents do not save and it does not flip to the IPEB or FPEB case managers to reflect that the 1180 is complete, and ready for action on AFPC's end. So this is very pertinent from AFPC directly to check that member council bond. So these are next steps. This is after the counseling has been done. So once the Air Force Form 1180 and the ODC legal representation form have been provided to AFPC, depending on how the member elected on their form 1180 will decide what the next steps are. So if the member agreed to the determination from AFPC, the case will begin separation/retirement, if eligible, with ARPC DPTTS. Now, if the member disagreed to the determination from AFPC, the case will go to the FPB for review. Now, the member may also appeal at this level, and the options to appeal include the following. They can request to proceed with their FPB hearing, or they can request to do a line of duty determination appeal to SAF PC prior to an FPB hearing. This appeal is for SAF PC to determine if the member's medical condition should be classified in the line of duty versus not in the line of duty. All right, and that ends it. Is there any questions? I know there's quite a bit of information, but yeah, any questions, feel free to ask them.